Welcome to today's Explainer. We're jumping straight into uncovering the metaphor, "Oh Captain, my Captain." Now, on the surface, this piece reads like a classic, high-stakes tale of survival on the open sea. But, as we'll see as we dig into it, there's a massive historical reality hiding just beneath those waves.
Right off the bat, we get hit with these iconic opening lines. "Oh Captain, my Captain, our fearful trip is done." I mean, you can literally hear the exhaustion and the relief pouring out of those words, right? The speaker is calling out to their leader, basically declaring that the absolute terror and uncertainty of their voyage is finally over. It's this deep, massive sigh of relief. And this sets a really vivid scene. We've got this grim, daring ship just bashing its way through absolutely turbulent waters. You can almost feel the deck swaying and the danger all around. But the crucial part? Despite taking an absolute beating from the storm, the ship made it. It survived. So, if we just look at the literal elements here, things are looking great. The ship has weathered every rack, meaning it survived every single trial thrown at it. The prize they were chasing won. The port is right there, bells are ringing, and the crowds on the shore are just going wild. They're cheering, they're exulting. It is the ultimate hero's welcome.
But then, wow, the tone just completely drops out from under us. But oh heart, 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 oh the bleeding drops of red. In a split second, all that celebratory energy vanishes. The narrator looks down and finds the captain, the exact guy who just steered them through hell, lying cold and dead on the deck. It's a total gut punch. This incredible victory is instantly overshadowed by an unthinkable tragedy.
So, let's get into decoding the metaphor.
When we actually pull back the curtain on this maritime story, it turns out it's a giant puzzle. We're looking at a brilliant historical metaphor for the end of the American Civil War and the devastating assassination of President Lincoln in 1865. The code is actually pretty straightforward once you see it. The captain is Abraham Lincoln. The ship is America itself. That fearful trip, that's the bloody, grueling Civil War. And the prize they won is the preserved Union. So the war is won, the country survives, but the leader who navigated the storm is murdered right as they hit the docks.
Moving on to the art of the elegy.
To really grasp how this piece works, we need to talk about its specific genre. It's an elegy. And an elegy is essentially a poem of lamentation. It expresses deep grief over a death, but it also serves as a formal tribute to that person. It's not just saying, "I'm sad," it's saying, "Look at what this giant of a person accomplished." In this case, President Lincoln achieved the ultimate prize of keeping the nation intact, which just makes the grief of his loss hurt that much more.
And that brings us to a really crucial takeaway. This is a grief that is both deeply personal and universally national. The narrator actually calls the captain "dear father" and rests his arm under his head. That's incredibly intimate. But at the exact same time, you have the shores packed with a swaying mass of eager faces, representing the entire country in mourning. It's a massive, shared national trauma funneled through one person's heartbreak.
Next up, let's look at the duality of joy and grief.
This right here is where the absolute genius of Whitman's writing shines. He's masterfully contrasting these two totally opposite extremes. On one hand, you have the shore, full of life, bugles thrilling, eager faces, total celebration. But on the deck, stark, quiet tragedy. He has no pulse nor will. The speeder is literally trapped between the highest high of a national victory and the lowest low of the president's death. You're forced to feel soaring joy and totally devastating grief at the exact same time.
Let's briefly talk about the man behind the verse.
To really get the weight of this, you have to know a bit about Walt Whitman. He was a wildly influential 19th century American essayist and journalist, famously known for his 1855 collection Leaves of Grass. He's even called the father of free verse. But what's really key for us is that his work constantly revolved around themes of loss and healing, and he wrote for the everyday person. He wasn't writing academic riddles. He was trying to capture the raw, bleeding heart of the common American, just trying to process the end of a horrific war and the sudden loss of their leader.
When we step back and look at how the source material challenges us to reflect, it's clear we have to look way beyond just the rhymes. We're seeing how intertwining that frantic excitement with cold, hard death creates this monumental national tribute. It reminds us that literature isn't just words printed on a page. It's a powerful tool to process our messiest, most complicated human experiences.
So, to wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a question that really hits the nail on the head. How does a nation celebrate a monumental victory while simultaneously mourning its greatest loss? How do we possibly reconcile the highest peak of triumph with the absolute deepest valley of sorrow? It's the core question this 19th century elegy forces us to confront, and honestly, it's something that remains incredibly relevant today. Thanks for hanging out and diving into this with me. Keep digging into what's hiding beneath the surface.